Okay, so now for the fun part, debits versus credits. This is the single most topic in accounting that always confuses students. So when I am teaching this subject in my classes, what I like to do is start off with the basic equation for the balance sheet. Assets equal liabilities plus equity. Okay, so that is, in my opinion, the single most important formula in accounting. So first of all, remember that formula. Always memorize that formula. Assets equal liabilities plus equity. Assets equal liabilities plus equity. All right, so once you memorize that formula, what I like to do is turn it into somewhat of like a table. Okay? So we have our assets on one side of the table and our liabilities and equity on the other side of the table. And so what happens is when we're trying to think about this debit and credit framework, we have what I like to call the left side and the right side. Okay? Left side and right side. Pretty simple, right? Okay. And so it just keeps getting easier. The definition of debit is going to be left side. The definition of credit is going to be right side. It's that simple. The more you think about your bank account and what happens when you debit and what happens when you credit this, it's just going to confuse you. Forget everything you've ever learned about debits and credits prior to accounting, because if you try to bring that into this, it's just going to confuse you. For the purposes of accounting, debit equals left side, credit equals right side. That's another one of those mantras that you just repeat to yourself over and over again. Debit equals left side, credit equals right side. Debit equals left side, credit equals right side, okay? So with that being said, what does that mean? Basically, our assets are on our left side and our liabilities and equity are going to be on our right side. So that's, once you understand that, once you understand this framework, then what's left is, since debit is our left side accounts, our assets, are going to increase with a debit. Okay? The opposite of that is they're going to decrease with a credit. Okay? All right, so if we move over to our right side, our credit side, that means our liabilities and equities are going to increase with a credit and they will decrease with a debit. Okay, so hopefully you're still kind of with me, you're holding on, it's kind of maybe clicking a little bit, but mainly the thing that you want to remember is debit equals left side, credit equals right side, okay? Assets equal liabilities plus equity. You're going to draw a line straight down the equal sign. Assets are always going to be on the left, liabilities and equity are always going to be on the right, okay? And so what happens, let me give you an example. If something happens and we sell something, we get some cash, right? That's what we usually get when we sell things. So if our cash, which is an asset, is going up, how do we show that the cash is going up? Well, cash is an asset. It's a debit side. We increase with a debit. So we're going to have a debit to cash, okay? And we'll get more into this when I do the journal entry video. But basically, this is the outline that I kind of wanted to kind of show you before we go into the journal entries. But basically, the main thing that I want you to remember here is that debit equals left side, credit equals right side. If you guys have questions, make sure and leave them in the comment section. I don't have a problem doing follow-up videos or answering questions by email. All right, so that is our debit versus credit framework. Great.